Yeah? Nay?
Awesome.
I don't think
I
these
was
are on.
unemployed.
Are these on? They're not on.
It's okay.
All right, just talk
It's,
loud.
yeah, I think it's
It's
on.
okay.
Hello? All right.
They can hear. I was unemployed, and then
You were unemployed?
Yeah, I was before I got the job. You want
Right.
to know when I got the job and how I got the job?
I'm actually, yeah, I'm curious of how you guys got involved with the show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's just be honest. It's Sunday. Let's
We
be
are
honest.
working actor.
So, and
Confess.
then right, exactly. And I had a wonderful audition on for the next day, and it was the material. It wasn't really the whole script, so I didn't really know what it was. All I knew is I liked the woman because her strength. And I was hungover, and I went anyway. And it was an awesome experience because it was one of the few times where I got a role only auditioning twice. And the showrunner, Carl Schaefer, was so amazing. My second audition, basically, I asked him, were there any notes? And he said, no, I just want to see you do it in person. Then I got nervous. and and so it was from there. And the wonderful thing is my first day at work, this one helped me out because I was new to the zombie world because I'm coming from comedy. So I didn't know there was rules and regulations. And this one was so kind. He was like, first of all, you're gonna need to pike it. You know that, right? Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, what's a piking? What are we doing? And then one day we stayed out in the woods all day, and I was like, are we gonna do this a lot? and then he was like, don't you know we're in the apocalypse? I was like, we're never inside.
Yeah. She's like, are there always bugs and weeds in the
Yeah,
apocalypse? Because I don't do that.
What are we doing? And then, so now my new cologne is off. Yeah. And just getting with the rest of the cast, we kind of just gelled and mashed. And I think for the first season, we showed them that honestly and earnestly, we were invested in creating a great show. So that's my story.
Good answer.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate the love and thank you. Hey, oh, Team Murphy! I came to the show. I was actually, the Asylum is one of the producers of the show, and if you don't know who Asylum is, they produce also Sharknado, which is a huge thing. But they also do hundreds of other movies. They would produce about 25 movies a year, so they knock them out fast and mean. And I was actually working there. I've been an actor for many, many years, but sometimes you work, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you got to have a job to pay the bills, you know. And so I was actually working at the Asylum. I got a day job there. I was the stage manager, which is kind of a glorified janitor. You're making sure the toilets weren't overflowing, or sometimes I had to like hose off the vomit off the front of the building. That was always a good job. So I was doing, organizing the buildings, making sure the buildings ran great. So anyhow, that was one of my jobs. Now, after working there for a few months, they knew I was an actor, and they're like, hey, how'd you like to audition for one of our movies? I'm like, sure, great. So I wound up doing a film for them, Three Musketeers. And so they knew me as an actor, and then they soon, I got a chance to write and direct a feature for them, and then I wound up writing actually a couple of zombie movies for Sci-Fi.
Told you he was an expert.
Yeah, so I got to evolve within the Asylum. I got to do a lot of different jobs there, including writing, directing, and acting, and the other stuff. So when they decided to do a television show, they were like, hey, we want you to audition for this show. And I'm like, fantastic, great, I would love to. And I wound up auditioning for this role probably 7 or 8 times. They were like, good.
And we hate that word.
Yeah.
Good and thank you.
Yeah. It's very good, thanks. And so you're just like, oh, God, I didn't get it. I know I didn't get it. And you always think they're going to go with someone with a bigger name or a bigger resume or bigger hair or whatever, shorter, taller, fatter. And so you after a while, after you do that like 7 or 8 times, you're just like, oh, whatever, here I am. I'm just going to do it. which is kind of good because it takes a lot of the fear and weight off of it. You're just like, look, I'm just going to go in and do my thing. And on a Friday, they held a emergency company meeting, and everyone in the company, came, and they basically held the meeting to announce that I got the job. And I got like a standing ovation from all my coworkers who knew.
Like, you trying to get another one?
Yeah, a little bit. Thank you.
What an easy crowd. You guys are so easy.
It's Sunday, praise the Lord.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, I love you. So anyhow, I got the job on a Friday, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which meant I had to be on the road by Sunday. So I just threw a bunch of stuff in the car, got on the road, drove up to Spokane, and I was shooting by Tuesday. So I really didn't even know much about the show other than it was a zombie show, and I was in it. I didn't know much about the character.
And where the payroll department was.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, so it was all very fast and furious, and so we were just kind of thrown into it. I met this girl, I met her.
I'm sorry,
like,
don't laugh.
the second I'm in my new trailer, and I see this girl clip-clopping around in a pair of, what kind of shoes were those?
I'm sorry, Pumps.
Yeah, no, but they were, what was the brand?
Gucci.
Her Gucci pumps. And I'm like, who is that unprepared girl walking around in those 4-inch stilettos? I'm like, she's crazy. And then I found out I was working with her.
I already told him that part. I wasn't ready.
Not by a long shot. So anyhow, we clicked right out the gate, and then I met this guy, and he and we have a strong theater background, so we're kind of cut from the same cloth. We've done a lot of free theater, and we actually know a bunch of people from working in Seattle, because I lived in Seattle for a while, and so anyhow, then we just had to get to work, and then we just started knocking it out, and so anyhow, that's my story.
Hey everybody. So I'll try to be quick. So I've been living in Seattle for the last 10 years, moved there from New Orleans. And I've just been one of those actors that have been kind of out in the trenches, never wanted to live in LA or New York. So I'm the guest star that usually is dead before the opening credits, Every drunk, redneck, cowboy, biker, small part that came along, it was kind of me, So I was doing theater, some indie films, and then my agent said they're going to be shooting a television show, here in Washington State, and they're going to open the auditions up for lead characters to all our local people here. And we're all like, yeah, right, that's going to happen, right? So we all went in there kind of not very enthusiastic, thinking that how could I possibly land a lead role on a TV series living in Seattle? So we all went there, and I auditioned, and I blew my first audition. I really sucked. And so about 2 weeks later, I got a call saying they want to see you again. Put yourself on tape. So I wasn't going to pay anybody to put me on tape again. So I had just got my new phone. So I set the phone up, and I just figured out how to do it, And my audition was the air shaft scene where I'm getting high with the zombie. That was my monologue. Thank you. And so I just pushed the little go button, and I just did my monologue, and I was pretending to hit the weed, and
You were pretending?
Right. Well, I did it over and over and over again.
How many times did you
I
do
did
it?
it really, honestly, embarrassingly. I did it till like 2 in the morning, and I started
Until the
about
joint
5,
was gone.
Right. So by 2 in the morning, I did really look stoned. So it kind of worked. And I said, you know what, that's the one. And then I just hit send, and then they cast me. So it's kind of crazy. So now here I am with like these stars over here,
You're a star.
All right, you guys know how this works, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, you
Right.
don't, but they do. They do.
Oh.
So, we're going to throw this out. There's a microphone in it. We're
Oh.
going to toss it around and ask questions.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, well, don't get hit.
Only in Kentucky. Well, since tote path.
Nice.
just want to say, first
Oh,
of all,
there's a microphone in the box.
Yes.
In the box.
Got it.
Cool. That's
Yes.
such a great idea.
Take it out.
Hilarious.
Okay.
No, that's some
I got it.
Los
Okay.
I was
Angeles
born and
good.
raised in Seattle, so
Oh, right on.
represent. And I also lived in Louisiana for a while, so
Oh, very
wow.
cool.
Awesome.
we're kindred spirits.
Awesome.
A couple of quick questions for whoever can answer them. When do you start filming for the next season?
April.
April.
April what?
Do you have
April
any new,
11th.
So I can know.
April 11th. Yeah. April 11th. Show up.
All right. Well, there we go.
And do you have any new cast members joining the cast next season that you can say
Emilio, right?
are joining?
Well,
Well,
you
yeah.
already joined.
Well, Emilio Rivera, who played a scorpion, yeah, he's going to be a regular on the show this next season, so you'll see him around. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Tough Guy. And
Yeah.
oh, no.
I'm down for it.
It gets lonely up there in the apocalypse. And then I know we have a new guy. What's that?
A new villain. His name is going to be Fox, but we don't know who he is yet.
We don't know who he is or exactly what but he's on the warpath, and I know he ain't a good guy. But that's about all I really know
That's
about
all
him.
I know, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, right there. There you go. She was really enthusiastic. Right?
Hi.
Hi.
So, if the Z-Whacker was your only weapon in the zombie apocalypse, would you survive?
Hell no.
No, she'd be falling down into Gucci pumps. She would never make it. One little clip, she'd be dead.
No, I mean you could, but you know something about a revolver kind of is a little special
But
in
you-
that case.
you gotta have bullets, so-
And you want to keep distance. You want to keep distance, and you get tired of swinging.
Me personally, it depends on who was swinging the Z-Whacker. I come from the school of thought, like, let someone else fight the fight, you know? So I'm going to
That's so
stand
Murphy,
back.
right?
I'm going to
That's
stand
so
back
Murphy.
and watch and just prepare to run
The princess.
while you swing the Z-Whacker.
The
That sort of
princess.
thing, yeah.
I think
no, it's the
the-
smartest. It's the smart.
I think the
That's
most
how I stay
practical
alive.
weapon is Doc's weapon, which is the crowbar. Because, you know, I'm going to lug that Z-Whacker around with me everywhere I go, but you can always find an abandoned car with a jack and a crowbar. So that
Okay,
seems like more
except,
logical.
however, tell us how many times you've complained about how heavy that crowbar is when you're carrying it around on the
Yeah.
set,
Well,
and he ain't even
it's
swinging
Sunday,
it.
and we're in Kentucky. Be honest.
Come on.
Wow.
He's like, this thing's heavy.
Oh God! Every. Let's just be honest.
Well,
we family.
It's really
That's the
more
kindred
about that
spirit.
big bag, that big bag Doc always has to carry. It's like half a cow. I mean, it's a huge bag. That's the thing and then it was always loaded with canned goods and stuff. And then one day I saw
It's
Keith
true.
has that ridiculous little backpack, you know, with the
The
spikes
pink
on it.
backpack with the
That's
spikes on it.
full of stuffed animals. It doesn't weigh anything. And I'm carrying around a half a cow with spam and tuna and heavy canned goods.
True.
Well,
So I was
nobody told you
complaining.
to be method.
Yeah. As Kellita constantly says, we ain't making a documentary.
Now, because people want to talk about why your eyebrows is right, because it's TV. Like, you know, this is not a how to do. Good luck if it breaks out. But now, this is entertainment. Yes.
All right, who's up? Where we at? Throw it. Yay.
All right, first off, I was just curious as far as what traits your characters have that you yourself have, if any.
I got a smart mouth. I really do. I'm much sweeter than Murphy. I'm not as big of an a-hole, but I do have a really sarcastic wit, which you know, comes out quite often in Murphy. And you know, he and we're the worst. We're constantly rewriting our jokes. You know,
'Cause they're not fun.
We're always
They
like,
are.
We don't have comedy writers on our show.
yeah. So we're like, that's not funny. What do you think about this? And they're like, yeah, and then we like throw back ideas back and forth. But yeah, certainly my sarcastic wit is definitely a trait of Murphy's.
That's a lot of freedom, though. I mean, from the showrunner.
Absolutely.
No.
We are a little spoiled in the
Very
fact
spoiled.
that
Wait
our
till they
writers,
get to NBC.
our writers,
Right. Because, I mean, it's set up and there's your sides. And you know
yeah,
it, right?
our writers are very open to hearing our ideas
Yes.
about the characters
They're
and
awesome.
let us give our input, and also will let us change the lines to make it feel right for us. So that's really, it's a very generous thing on their part, because many times on many shows they want every single word they wrote it, way they wrote it. So so we get to flavor it a little bit ourselves, which is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would say that I'm optimistic, like Doc, and want to be everybody's friend, kind of like Doc, and I guess that's all. Yeah.
I'm nothing like Warren.
No, she is not.
Oh wait, you're kind of
Well,
bossy.
you're fierce,
No.
This is bossy.
No, Warren is no.
but you're a leader, though.
No.
You are a leader.
No. Warren is amazing, and I say every season I'm growing to her. She is methodical. She knows what to do. I mean, I'm so tired right now. I don't know what to say. But she is a wonderful adventure to discover within myself, and so by the end of 5 seasons, I will know what I am like about her. I'm learning who I am through her.
One thing that I could add was, it's the interesting thing about television, because I've never done it before, is you get to help develop a role over time. So as the writers get to know who you are, they start to write for you. Have you found that to be
Yeah,
true?
certainly.
So it's a
No.
really nice thing to, they start to understand what your personality type is. And it's fun. It's cool.
I know. Look at you in the back.
We'll get to
So
you.
Russell, did you ever get your hot brown?
I never got my hot browns
Never
yet.
got your
Where
hot
do you
brown.
go for the hot browns here? Where in town? Where in town that I could walk to?
There's where you can walk to.
The Hyatt? Oh, the Hilton.
The Hilton might have.
Okay, I'm doing it. I'm off all day tomorrow.
That
Wait,
guy
so
got
what is
bourbon.
hot browns again?
It's the bread and the cheese and the meat and the gravy
Gravy,
and
yeah.
some like tomato and basil.
It's a
like
Kentucky
that.
thing.
Face roast beef.
It's a
with-
Wow.
Kentucky thing.
It's a
Wow.
Kentucky.
All right.
It'll make you look like this.
But
I wanted to.
You look
also,
happy.
That was one thing I wanted to do.
I'm
on
pretty
the
damn
other
happy.
thing,
I got to be honest about
you
it.
look happy.
I wanted to go pay my respects to the Colonel, but I don't know where they buried him.
He's like
down
Hilarious.
south.
Hilarious.
But
down
he's too
south.
far away. That,
About a 2-hour
you know.
drive.
All right, way in the back there, that gentleman with his hand, just
Are
throw
you
it.
talking
Throw
about
it, sir.
the
Oh.
Colonel from Kentucky Fried
Yes.
Chicken?
Yeah.
yes.
No, he's talking about
Colonel Sanders, damn it.
Yes.
I love that dude. And they got that imposter on TV now who's kind of embarrassing.
We're walking all
That's
around
a
this
damn
town.
abomination, right? They need to just get old pictures of the real guy.
all right.
Sorry.
Sorry, she and I are having another
I'm
conversation over
sorry.
here.
No,
to the
I
other
just,
side.
I'm the Colonel. I didn't
She
know.
gave me a compliment, said I looked happy,
Yeah.
but not pretty.
You, sir.
Yeah, I was just wondering what national monuments you guys have it in for this season, because you're like, I'm never there.
All right.
Well,
That's a good question.
I think we're open.
You have any
Open to
suggestions?
suggestion.
Washington Monument would be awesome.
There's
Right,
that.
right. Or the St. Louis Arch or something. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
We're in
I don't
trouble.
know. We don't know exactly where we're gonna be. We know we're traveling because our show is kind of a road show, so we're always in a different place every week, pretty much. So, but we don't know exactly where we're gonna be exactly. So I don't know. We're open to suggestions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just throw it. There we go.
I'm curious about the time spent getting into makeup, and
Ooh.
especially like when they put the bites on you. Do they try to shoot as much with you in the bites for other episodes, or do they do it each time?
Right. Well, for just my hands and my face, in season 2 when I'm blue, if you didn't know, that's 2 hours with 2 people working on me for just my hands and my face. And that is 11 different layers of color. It's just not one. They don't just go over it with blue. That's purple and red and blue and green and silver. And, they're very methodical. And Corinne Foster, who designs my makeup, who some of you might know from Face Off, she was on Face Off, But she designs all my makeup. She's very meticulous about, making sure that every, one of my little veins is drawn out right, or the color, the sheen is right. So she does a brilliant job. Her and her husband Josh, who owns Synapse Effects, they do all of our zombies. So they're constantly designing brand new zombies every week and coming up with, Fido zombies or radioactive zombies or blaster zombies. So they're really amazing, these guys, and they step it up every week and bring it some fresh zombies. So anyhow, now when they do my scars, that's a 5-hour makeup job. So this is me half the time. I'm like, just wake me up when you're done.
And finally, it takes a man longer to get ready.
But it's worth it.
It is.
Yeah, for Doc, they just go, go.
Zhuzh. It's called zhuzhing.
Just a little zhuzh.
But as far as shooting with the scars, they don't shoot for several episodes. But they will. They do. Whenever I put them on, they have to shoot those first, because if I'm wearing clothes over them or anything, it can smudge it, or
Because it's a prosthetic, right?
It is. They're actually 6 different prosthetics, so 6 different pieces. So anyhow, it's a lot of artwork, and you can't really mess that up by wearing clothes and stuff. So they try and shoot all that out first thing in the morning, first thing of the day. But so sometimes I'm there 3 o'clock in the morning to start putting my makeup on. Yeah.
Not to mention the hundreds of zombies they have to do too,
Yeah.
which is a whole
Top-
assembly line.
Yeah,
the sea
yeah.
sponges.
So they work their
They
butts
really
off.
do. We
Yeah,
have an
they do.
awesome department there. For sure.
Okay, where is it? Just throw it. There's somebody.
What about in that
Yeah, over. Yeah. Woo! Thank you.
We lost it. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I have a two-part question. The dynamic between you two changed so much in the episode with the museum, and I was wondering about where the relationship is going to go from here. And I forgot the second question.
Let them answer the first one, and then we'll see if you remember the second one.
Well, I don't know where it's going. No, I'm playing. Well,
How did it change?
right.
Well, I'll tell you.
I think.
I mean, he's always been a thorn in her side.
Well, yes, and I think really what it is that although that he is the mission, Warren actually does care for him as a person, a human, even though he's a blend. But he's also the answer to the cure. So he's not only my responsibility, he's family. And I think part of where it's going has a lot to do with either strengthening the purpose of the mission, and because Murphy's who he is, there might be a little bit of tension that might get explored. Yeah.
And Murphy's still evolving too as he
Right.
gets stronger and realizes his powers more and more. He's not the same guy that he was at the beginning, so that's going to certainly change the dynamic.
And I can't be the same woman, so
Right.
Right.
let's see what happens.
And one thing about I think our relationship that is I think really great for the show is we have a mutual respect for each other. I mean, as much as we push each other's buttons and we'll test each other's limits, I think ultimately it comes down to the fact that we have a common respect for each other. It's down there, it's not always the first thing out of our mouths, but we also push each other quite a bit, see what we can get away with and what the other one is willing to give. So it's a bit of a boxing match all the
It's a
time.
tango.
Tango, I like that. Yeah, I'd say tango. But it's I would say going into this next season, Murphy is coming much more into his own power and strength. And quite frankly, every time we this mission that we've been on for 2 seasons ain't going so well. Every time we think we get to, the place where it's, we're supposed to be, it certainly ain't working out for Murphy. And so I think he's sort of reached his limits. I'm like, all right, they've had their chance, and now it's Murphy's turn, baby. So, so I think this next season we're going to see Murphy become a much more confident and strong and powerful figure.
And loving.
And loving?
Kidding.
To who?
That was a joke.
Well,
That was a joke.
Love
and
myself.
with that being said, when you are in a situation like the apocalypse, the thing that gets you through is a purpose. And I think
Right.
part of Warren's character is she's driven to all ends to be able to resolve this virus. So she don't really care about his power right now. You gonna get it, and you gonna give us the vaccine that we need. If I gotta strengthen myself and tie you down and eject it from you myself, I will.
Bring it.
All right.
Okay,
Do you
and
think
what was
there's-
the
okay.
what was the most fun thing that you've done yet in the episodes? The most fun thing to film.
That's always a tough question.
I think it's all my fight scenes. All of them. Every last one.
I liked riding the horse in the Indian episode. And I rode that horse for about a week, and I swear you didn't hardly see anything. They cut it down to like me walking on the horse. I was waiting to see the episodes to see me galloping, and nothing,
You was
I did
galloping.
nothing.
You was galloping at lunch.
Well,
You was galloping.
And then I had my astral projection, when I was that warrior, that whole thing. That was like a second. It was like, where was that? The whole thing was so fast. But that was a really fun day for me.
I think for me the most fun things I get to shoot are the intimate scenes with Warren and I, because I think we really get to see these two characters with their guards down, and we get to see an emotional connection between those two. And for me, those are the most important things, because they give a real reality to these characters and really show that their connection on a real personal level. And I love working with this girl. She's so great, and we are able to...
Yeah, but what was the most fun? That was a question.
those are fun. I mean, as an
No, that's
actor-
like actor fun.
All right.
That's fun. It's fun.
It is fun.
Jumping
It
off
is-
the roof into the pool full of zombies? That was
Well, I didn't get to jump off the roof.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would say the most fun...
You running?
No.
You looking for clothes with Cassandra.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
That
Walking
was
around in
fun.
the bunny slippers
Oh,
and
and
this.
when you were in the strip club and he was being all like the MC.
That was fun.
That was fun.
All right, that was fun.
I cannot.
Yeah.
All right.
Zombie strippers, Jesus.
All right, I have two questions. The first one is, who came up with the term puppies and kittens?
As actually my favorite term. I'm starting to use it in my relationship. The writer, I actually think it was Carl Schaefer who came up with that.
So, yeah.
And it's cute, right? Yeah.
And the second one is, what did you use for the brain scene?
For the brain scene?
When I ate it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ugh, right?
Yeah. Well, the brain itself was like a foam brain that they made. And then what they did, they took cubes of gelatin and colored it, and then kind of chopped it up and put it in, they hollowed out a piece in there. So it was basically like chewing rubber. It was disgusting. But yeah, it was like, just like,
All right. Yeah,
Ew,
we
was
got
it
some
really?
people.
yeah, it was
front
gross.
end.
You would not have eaten it.
No, I wouldn't have.
Mm-mm.
Are you kidding? I'm barely in the woods. As you can tell, I don't ever eat. Like, we'll have scenes where we're eating. I don't eat. Warren is on Jenny Craig. I'm sorry.
Behind the scenes, who's the biggest cut up and what's the craziest story you can tell us?
Oh, you looking at him.
Me?
Both of y'all.
Yeah.
It's the two of you.
I would say, we've all got like our one-line zingers and stuff like that. We're all pretty quick with, a joke. I would say.
Everybody, it's the two of y'all. I
You think?
Yeah.
But, and people ask us, you guys do pranks on the set? I'm like, we don't have time for pranks. We're really busy. I mean, we shoot an episode every 6 days, and in TV standards, especially with a show like this, that's so complex with extras and makeup and special effects, that's super fast. So
Yeah,
in
'cause
order
it would
to like
normally take 9 days.
Yeah.
It's a nine
So,
9-day shoot.
in order to like set up a prank and everything, you got to have time. We don't got that time.
we really don't.
But we will like joke around and crack each other up and things like that. But this
And they're
is-
crooners.
this
They
is-
like to sing.
Oh yeah, we sing. So we
They're
do.
crooners.
But
Yeah, they just set you up. They just shut you up.
No, never
okay.
mind.
So anyhow, but this was funny. So there was the episode where he's gonna go save 10K, who's on the other side of the Mississippi, and he finds
I
the
bring
canoe.
that up?
He finds the canoe, right? He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go save him. And I am sitting back. I'm not in the
Well,
scene.
wait. Let's set it up. Let's set
All
it
right.
up. Let's set it up. Because it was me and Anastasia, who plays Addie. We were on the side of the canoe, and he had to get in the canoe to get into the water. We have stuntmen in the water to kind of steer him in the right direction so we don't lose Doc forever. So we're on the side right before we get ready to start, and we're like, okay, I say to him, I said, you kind of want to make sure you get in the canoe and you got it kind of even. He was like, I'm from the military, I got this. I can do this. And I can tell you how long I've been doing this, and I'm a father of 2, and I've been married twice. And I was like, okay, I have a uterus, you might want to listen. And then Anastasia's like, what, actually, Russell, she calls him Rusty. Rusty, we can hold the back. He was like, I got this.
I got it.
So we said, okay, no problem. So then the director yells, action. He grabs the canoe like he's a Jamaican bobsledder.
I wanted it to be like this epic moment, where I just push out there and then boom.
That's what he wanted.
Going after 10K.
He ran
That's
and
what
jumped
he wanted.
into the.
And flipped the hell over. Right? And what was
Like fast.
crazy?
It was like,
It was so fast. I could not even say don't. And no one came to him right away because everybody was laughing.
Too hard.
And
He
then
just disappeared.
he did. And then I
was there
said,
for a minute,
oh
then he's
God,
gone.
oh God, he hit his head, he's drowning. And then I flipped up, he came up and he said, that's not what I wanted.
This big dramatic moment. I'm gonna
felt-
save him.
Well, I was afraid, I was afraid that they thought I might have done it on purpose just to be funny or something. I was like, really thought I knew what I was doing.
No, we know that's what you thought.
God, I was super embarrassed. So anyway, when the DVD came out for season 2, I'm like, well, at least I'll be the star of the gag reel, right? I mean, that'll be this awesome. And then they didn't put the gag reel in season 2. So anyway,
Don't worry.
Buy it. You happy?
no, there's other stuff at the end that's worth watching, but that ain't. I'm
Well,
gonna find footage and I'll put it on.
But that moment was his own little movie, so don't be
It was.
surprised
It was.
if you got a little mini movie coming out.
It'll be on my demo reel.
Okay, we got a microphone there.
I had 2 questions. This is our program. How did you get your picture on the back?
Who is that?
It's you.
Oh, it's me.
Didn't you pose for this?
Are you kidding?
Audience?
Well, it looks like my bra. And I probably would look like that in the ring. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah, but she'd
But
never
I
be
don't
wearing
think
those
this
shoes.
Is me. I don't think
Not
this
those
is me.
shoes.
And I would not wear these shoes. But it's cute. Wait.
Second question's for Murphy. In the show, they're not quite sure what team he's playing for. Is it going to be Team Zombie or Team
Oh, that
Human?
team.
Which
Well. Oh, that kind
No
of
comment from
Family
Doc.
show.
there's
Damn
another
it.
team?
It's Sunday.
All
We're in
right.
Kentucky. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
That was a good one. That was good.
Okay, Team Zombie or which team?
Team Human.
Team Human or Team Zombie?
Yeah. Which one is he going to choose?
Well, I think that's going to depend on, who I think has a better chance of surviving. Murphy's a bit of an opportunist, and at this point, humans ain't doing so good. And they're bossy.
And the zombies just obey and listen to him and do everything he says.
The stronger that Murphy gets, the more freedom he has. And, after being a prisoner before the apocalypse and then being a prisoner during the apocalypse, this whole power trip that he's on, he's finding a new sense of freedom and power that he's never had before. And so he's finding humans to be less and less worthy, I think, of them. And plus, they're violent and vindictive, and
they're in the apocalypse.
Yeah, but
we're not violent and vindictive for
zombie.
no reason.
But
Team zombie.
But he also sees a very ugly side of humanity unfolding as the apocalypse continues. And I think from an observational point of view, he looks at it and goes, the human race is a mess, to begin with. And so I think he's leaning toward Team Zombie.
Okay, let's throw it back that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
All right.
Team Murphy.
Right, exactly. Team Murphy. It's a whole new team.
We got a question over here on the right.
I have two questions. The first one is, can anybody explain how scorpions survived?
No.
No.
We do not know. I'm like, how is that guy still alive? He ate a zombie's face, and then he fell into a pit of about 20, 30 zombies. What?
And he got bit. That one episode too. And yeah.
If anybody asked, we were never
there. He had the
there.
little bazooka, and then he had the big bite mark on his arm.
I think that the truth is we all just loved Emilio so much, and everybody just wanted him to be on our team, and so they figured out some magical way to bring him back.
You got to ask the producers, because I was like, how is he still alive? That makes no sense.
It was
to me.
the shirt.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He didn't get the shot. Nope.
It was the shirt.
All right.
And
Let's.
the
Let's get another question.
the baby girl.
Lucy.
Yeah, she's gonna do more episodes because, she's
Yeah,
trying to
Lucy's
get.
coming back in the next season. That girl's gonna age real quick.
Yeah.
You saw by the end of the season. Yeah, she's already 3 years old or something like that.
She looked 9.
Yeah, that kid's gonna be a teenager before you know it. And then we had a bunch of in the back.
Yeah, if you could throw it back that way.
Come on.
I see Emily back there.
My son wants a hug.
From who?
From who? Oh yeah, come on up.
Oh, you gonna get shot at.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Peyton Manning. Go ahead, be Peyton Manning. Little Eli.
There we go. We finally got it back there to you, ma'am.
You almost said it a few minutes ago. The phrase I asked you about yesterday, Warren's character.
Say it again.
The question about if you were ever related to the monuments. Could you say it through Warren? If anybody asked, we were never in Lexington.
Right. If anybody asks, we were never near Lexington. That's right. And that's Barb, right? Yes.
Did filming any of the episodes or scenes creep you out to any of you?
Yes, girl, the woods, all of it. All of it. It's all of it. Like the blood, the dirt, especially when I gotta get bloody. Oh God. First of all, it's a whole.
Girl, don't do blood.
Forget it.
I gotta have therapy. Mentally, I gotta get there, and they just enjoy drenching you with it, and I know it's fake, but it feels so. And if the children weren't in the room, I tell you what I really feel like when I'm, and what it looks like. It's just so I cannot.
Remember that scene where we pull over and the girl in the wheel well?
Yeah.
That was like our first episode, right? And I was thinking, well, they're just gonna stuff a dummy under there and squirt her with blood and it'll drip and stuff. And then we got to the moment, and there was a real girl in there.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got this
Like,
skinny,
girl
tiny
up in
little
there.
girl, and she was all tucked up under there, quivering, and that kind of freaked me out a little.
Super
A
gross.
little.
Super
Little.
gross.
As a matter of
Explain
fact,
to the left.
the way it was written was I was supposed to take the tire off and really do all that. Once we got there and I saw all that, he ended up taking the tire off. You can have this moment. This is what's going on. Well, I didn't ask the right questions.
Yeah, that was
was a
definitely one of
creepy
the
moment,
grossest ones.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Because she didn't
She
look
was
like
real.
she would fit up there. She was, it
And
was,
she was a trooper. She stayed
Yeah,
there
she
for a
was.
long time. She was just in it, man.
Yep.
She was in the moment. We have
Yeah.
awesome
God
zombie
bless our
extras.
zombies, man.
They're
they
great.
work hard.
They work really, really hard.
We gotta give them kudos.
Okay, next question.
Why did Mac have to die?
I know, right?
Nat?
Mac.
Oh, Mac, yeah.
I don't think we have an answer for that. That's
Well-
kind of like the scorpion thing. It's the shirt.
Well, it's the apocalypse. Someone had to go. You know.
This one. I think, what we all signed on to is that we all expire at some point with this show. And I think part of the element of surprise about the show is you don't really know who it's going to be, which is why oftentimes I read ahead in the script to make sure it ain't me. But I think we all signed on to the fact that eventually we all kind of expire in some way. So.
Michael's a wonderful actor, and he's going to be working all the time anyway, so
Yeah.
that boy works.
Yeah, we
Good
miss him
actor.
quite a bit.
We
He's
really
a
do.
great guy and a really good actor, but it's the apocalypse. Yeah, they weren't gonna make it.
Okay, I think we have time for maybe one more question. Yeah, throw it. Thank you.
Okay, so I have 2 questions.
That's fine.
Roll with it.
Okay, at the end of season 2, in that crazy episode, we see, I'm gonna say Chinese or Japanese, maybe North Korean looking soldiers come in, and also we kind of find out what Zona kind of is, sort of. In next season, are we going to see a little bit like more, or are you guys gonna go to another country or actually go to Zona or like anything? If you guys can say.
As long as it'd be glad to be not in the woods.
Yeah, Zona, that's the island where the rich people go, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kellita would like that.
I'm
island.
open.
I know that for part of the next season, we will be sort of splitting up and going in different directions. And so I'm not exactly sure where we're going to go or what parts of the country, because we'll all be kind of doing our different thing. And then we come together about mid-season for a common cause, a common goal. So even though we are sort of on the outs with each other, we have a common goal that we come back together and join forces again for. But I'm not exactly sure where it's going to be in the country. They haven't really told us any of that yet.
Okay, and my second question is, are you guys going to have much interaction with Citizen Z? Citizen Z, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Citizen
Citizen
Z.
Z.
This next season, like, is he gonna?
I think
be
we are gonna.
Yeah.
Isn't he gonna meet
I've
up
heard
with us,
that,
maybe?
Well, no, he's a little more active this season. What I heard, and I heard some of what you just said, so that's kind of new to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know, it's very kind of need to know. But I do know Citizen Z is. I think he actually, for that common cause, he actually comes
Right.
down and works with
Joins
us
the team
in
for a
this
bit,
common
yeah,
cause.
so.
We all kind of come together to do good.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much. Let's
Thank
give a
you,
big round of
guys.
applause to our guests.